BowTie Barbecue has always been a work of passion. It takes time, skill, and a blend of perfect temperature, wood, smoke, and meats. We just took it up a notch. Taste the passion. BowTie Barbecue, 6724 Waters Avenue, Savannah.
This is the Danny Britt Show live from BowTie Barbecue. Christian Gokel alongside the head football coach for your cadets, Danny Britt, here on a game day for the first time this season. BC playing tonight at Memorial Stadium against New Hampstead for a spot in the playoffs. And we're going to get into that, the significance of today. But first off, recapping what was a thriller of a game last Friday night there at Memorial Stadium against Perry, the defending state champions. And, Coach, your team comes up 4 points short in a game that was a lot of momentum swings, two really good football teams just kind of hitting each other back and forth with turnovers and big plays.
Yeah, definitely. It was a tremendous game. I'm sure it was a blast to watch. Wasn't so much fun to coach in, but it was a blast to watch, I'm sure. But yeah, two really good football teams going at it, and Perry is extremely good football program and football team, and that showed. And of course, we are just right there with them, and made some mistakes that we can't make, but so proud of the fight, the effort, the energy, all of the above from the kids. Really was.
And Coach, I know I'm sitting in close proximity to you right now, so I'm going to phrase this in the best way possible because I know you can get fired up and arms start flying and things happen. But game of inches. I mean, you have a kickoff return for a touchdown that if it's a yard further is in the end zone for a touchback. Ball gets batted up after you get an interception taken away.
Right.
I think the most significant play of the game was an interception you guys get where it looks like it's going to be a pick six, but a quarterback just swipes at the feet of your safety and takes him out. And again, the very next play, it goes the other way, 14-point swing in 2 plays. So it was just one of those games where it felt like whoever made the last play was going to be the team, just a game of inches.
Yeah, and we talk about that. Well, one, my dad used to say, if and nuts were candy, if and butts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a wonderful Christmas, right? That doesn't how that works. I believe there are reasons why you don't get those plays. I do. I believe in it, and it comes back to things that are done maybe in the past. Hey, this sounds crazy. If you miss a workout that you're supposed to be at unexcused, probably not going to get those plays, and the more people that things like that are happening to, the more you don't make those plays. Again, that sounds silly. If you don't run, hard as you can every time, things happen. Now things happen anyway. And,
sure.
And I'm not trying to beat up on anybody when I say that, because that's not the case. It's just, we just haven't seemed to get those plays this year. And that's frustrating. And I got to look at myself and think, why is that not happening? But you're right. I mean, we got to be more athletic and score on that pick six. We should have scored on that. Should have been a pick six instead of just a good interception return. We've got to make those plays. We got to, we can't allow the kick return, even though you're right. If it were 6 inches longer, it'd been a touchback and we're good to go. And we ran around blocks. We were running around the middle, the wedge. This is exactly what happened, and we have corrected that now. But that's what happened, and they took it. They did their job. You can't miss the short field goal. Can't have 12 men on the field, which is absolutely unusual situation for us. But it happened. So you just got to make all those plays, and it seemed to have trouble making those plays to this point this year. Now I talk to the kids and say, we can turn that around. We can do this. So it's been great energy this week anyway.
And I know just in that game in particular, it showed up a lot, but it's football in general, right? Where it's just, if you don't have the discipline, every single play, it can be 12 men on the field. And right. I know that goes coaches and players, and it's just that 1 second. But that said, very next play, you drop a conversion. So it was one of those things where it felt like, I don't know if you believe in the football gods, but I think they exist, and it felt like the football gods maybe were slanted one way on Friday night, and you just got to do everything you can to overcome that. But with that said, you took the defending state champions to the edge with a team that 2 weeks ago, nobody knew what they were going to be able to put out there. And then coming up tonight, you have a chance to continue your playoff life. It's really like the playoffs start tonight. So it's with everything being said, you still control your own destiny.
Definitely. And as you could tell post game I was extremely upset because I felt like it was self-inflicted. We didn't get beat; we beat ourselves, and that's very frustrating. But I told the boys on Monday, I said, but then I woke up Saturday morning and was excited because I'm like, holy cow! Even even with Amari at quarterback, we are still as good as anybody in the state,
Right.
And we need to realize that, and I think and the energy's been that way this week, so that's been a good thing.
And maybe not with Amari at quarterback, but anybody that loses their starting quarterback is going to kind of feel like that, like, hey, I don't know what we're going to look like.
Right.
I think it's a credit to Amari that he stepped up, and I don't think he's really blinked so far. I know he has a couple of interceptions. One's a tip ball, but that first one, that's about a split second from being a touchdown. If he just gets rid of it a little bit sooner, I think through 8 quarters of football, he's played about as well as you can ask for.
Yeah, Amari's done an incredible job. First of all, it's his personality. He's a quarterback personality, and you know what that means. A lot of people don't. They're like, what are you talking about? It's like some people are leaders, some people are not. So he is a quarterback personality. He has not blinked. He's done everything he's supposed to. He's working extremely hard. He's excited about the opportunity, which is what you want. You don't want a guy going, oh gosh, I hope Steven doesn't go down.
Right.
You want a guy going, hey, I don't want him to go down, but if it happens, I'm going to be ready. And that's his personality. He's done a very good job. Extremely proud of it.
And I know it's one of those things where it's a sophomore, so you have a bunch of seniors in there, a bunch of juniors who are getting some big playing time, but the quarterback position, if you're going to have a successful football team, has to kind of step up as a leader. Has it been more example and just hardworking, or has he been a little bit vocal?
He's vocal in the sense of running the offense a little bit. I mean, he's not a yeller and a screamer. Neither is Steven. I mean, it's just, but he is, he's working hard, and he's like, hey, let's go, telling people, to get to the left or to the right, or, lining them up. He's vocal in that way. Now he's not a rah-rah cheering guy, which I really don't want my quarterback to be anyway, to be honest with you. And he's, but he has been, he's been a leader. Yes.
And I know, again, it's hard to go back and just even watch tape from games like Friday where you lose in that kind of fashion. But there was a lot of positivity, I think, in that game. And we said it during the broadcast. I think Stanley Smart kind of had the game everybody's kind of waiting for him to have.
Right.
Takes a wheel route out of the backfield, breaks 3 tackles, and scores a touchdown. I mean, that was a big-time Georgia high school football kind of a running back play.
Yeah, no, he had a good game. And, we played well. And I watched every play of it, at least 10 times. And we played well. We played hard. Of course, made some mistakes like you do, but very proud of how we played. And Stan did. He had a good game. He was running hard. He, caught the ball out backfield. It was a great play right there, and, did some things well. And again, that's another sophomore.
Yeah, absolutely. And a bunch of guys like that, underclassmen who are coming back. But senior laden offensive line, Ralph Scroggins was our player of the game. I know it's hard to, in the moment, kind of grade how linemen are playing, but with a chance to go back and watch, how do you think the offensive line played, and in particular, Ralph?
I thought they played well. Ralph had a good game. I think he had a better game the week before, probably, but Jacoby had a number of really good plays.
Right.
But no, I thought they've gotten better and better each week, and we knew we were going to need them to be, do a good job, especially with what Steven went down, and they have, and they've gotten better each week.
And defensively, you guys, I don't want to call it a second half team, but it's been, you guys have been dominant in the second half, and don't give up a point defensively in that second half there. Obviously, the turnover for a touchdown and then the kickoff return for a touchdown, the only points Perry score in the second half. Through these last few weeks, what's kind of been the magic that you guys have been able to get in the locker room, make just a couple of adjustments, coach them up, and come back out and shut people down?
I think the biggest thing is, one, every time we play somebody, there's wrinkles that we haven't seen all year.
Yeah, like 6 quarterbacks in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's always, every single time, certainly, usually in the first quarter, there is something different that, gives them a little success early. So it's unique that way. Coach Houston does a great job of adjusting with that, and I think that's the biggest thing. He did a really good job of, getting them under the tent, adjusting. We were a little bit shook, I think, in the secondary, just trying to get line up, getting the calls. Calls because they were coming out, they would line up in one formation, shift to another formation. Coach Houston is a caller. He's not, a lot of defensive coaches are just planners. They implement, and then they basically, you just are playing whatever your checks are in the game. Coach Houston is a caller. He calls the play. He calls the defensive plays. So as fast as they were going, the changes they were making with the personnel was really hard, and he was making that. So after we got accustomed to that and settled into that, I think the defense played really well.
It was pretty unique because there's a chance that's not the last time you see Perry this year. It's a unique mindset that they have, where it kind of seems like they're going to put 4 quarterbacks out there and see which one's clicking the best against the defense. And just watching pregame, their quarterbacks throw it. The guy, I think Gunn or Ginn, whoever ended up staying in there the most, he could spin it the best. And I guess they just kind of identified that was their best chance against y'all. But I mean, second half, y'all shut it down pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. And we haven't seen the third quarterback as much. But they played him, and obviously we're doing some power run stuff with him. Which was successful early. We haven't really seen that other than mop-up duty, so that was a wrinkle. But they'd played 15 and 16, kind of interchangeable all year, and I believe it was 16.
Yeah.
Now I can't remember, but 16 that he's had more of the snaps.
We were it was hair and no hair.
That's what it was.
It's kind of how we were identifying that one. But again, a tight game, a close game, and then again, great performances from the offensive line. I thought third and Cam Cody, and then really kind of 8 in the second half. Once especially, it's so simple. And I know football keeps quote unquote changing year after year, and there's all these amazing play callers that come in and renovate what's happening in football. But it's amazing what happens when you win on first down and you get people in the long distances, and then you just let your edge rushers eat. It's a pretty simple combination that has been around for a long, long time.
Yeah, that is, and they did a really good job, and we're going to need that again tonight. But if you can get people behind the chains, you can eat, as you say. And that's us offensively. We've got to stay ahead of the chains. Like Coach DePhillips says all the time. And we had some penalty calls that I still haven't found on the film. But from the other night,
thankfully they waived one of them off.
That was good.
That was.
And I thought Mr. Willie Dorsey did a good job. We had had one guy that just kept hitting us, but
and it's interesting which sideline he was on.
Yeah, I know it, right? And I just can't find those penalties. But we've looked. I've got 3 camera angles on every play, and I just couldn't find them. And
I think the play that kept getting called was just a buck sweep to this is completely blanking on his name right now. 6. Again, Jack Ganem, and he was wide open 15, 20 yards at a time, and then it's almost like it looked too easy that they felt like they needed to throw a holding call.
What they kept calling was blocking downfield on the receivers were blocking downfield. I swear I believe this. They're not used to seeing that kind of blocking downfield, so they just assume it's holding. I cannot. I'll tell them that. I'm like, you just aren't used to seeing people blocking downfield. This guy's working. His hands are inside. He's doing what he's supposed to do.
And Coach, we're about to take a break, come back and preview New Hampstead. But before that, just mindset-wise, it's like you're in the playoffs right now. Is that something that's been communicated to the team this week?
Oh yeah, that's what we said Monday. Is do or die. Let's go. We're in the playoffs. We've adjusted special teams. We have starters on special teams. We're rocking and rolling.
And how has that kind of affected the, mentality and intensity?
I don't know. I think it's been a really good week. I think it's been energetic, been as intense as we want it to be. As far as we don't want to get anybody hurt at this point in practice. So it's been good. Been a good week.
Again, it's game day live here from BowTie Barbecue. We got some BC folks out in the crowd right now enjoying a wonderful lunch here. And feels like it's about the middle of July right now, but we're coming up on the last day of October. Again, we're going to take a quick break here. We'll come back, preview New Hampstead next right here on the Danny Britt Show.
BowTie Barbecue has always been a work of passion. It takes time, skill, and a blend of perfect temperature, wood, smoke, and meats. We just took it up a notch. Taste the passion. BowTie Barbecue, 6724 Waters Avenue, Savannah.
When it comes to blocking all the obstacles that life throws your way, let Vernon Williams and Auto Owners Insurance help you dodge the hits, analyze the playing field, and run the ball all the way home. We shield you so you can have peace of mind when it comes to auto, home, life, or business insurance. As one of the oldest and most respected independent insurance agencies in the Southeast, we know what it means to stand behind the people we protect head on. Trust in the power of the Shield since 1934. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
At Benedictine Alumni-owned Stacked Firewood Delivery, we're all about the best premium firewood, conveniently delivered in manageable stacks at the right price. We're talking kiln-dried, pest-free firewood. You see, our custom stack is equal to about 10 fires. Choose oak, cherry, hickory, or mixed hardwoods. Stacked Firewood Delivery. Go to stackedwood.com. That's stackedwood.com. BC Brothers Moving is Savannah's most trusted moving service. From residential to commercial to packing supplies, BC Brothers does it all. Let BC Brothers' energetic, trustworthy team wrap it, pack it, and move it for you. Check out BC Brothers online at bcbrothersmoving.com or give them a like.
And then along came Walker Jones.
Mom and Dad drove a Chevy. They're Mom and Dad too. Generation to generation, Chevrolet is America's heritage brand. And the best place to buy your Chevy is Walker Jones Chevrolet. They'll treat you like good friends and neighbors should.
Hi, I'm Joe Drawdy. I'm the General Sales Manager at Walker Jones Chevrolet. We've got it all. Why shop anywhere else?
Chevy. Together, let's drive. Walker Jones Chevrolet. Memorial Drive in Waycross and online at walkerjoneschevy.com.
Into the Danny Britt Show. Christian Gokel live from BowTie Barbecue with the head football coach for your cadets, Danny Britt. And coach, it's amazing how quickly it goes, man. We are, I guess, it should be 9 games through the season. We're 8 games through the season now, but coming up on the final regular season game, and it is do or die against a team that you guys are all too familiar with, a coaching staff y'all are very familiar with as well, New Hampstead and Kyle Hockman.
Yeah, definitely. It is the final home game of the season. Just like every great game needs a solid game plan, so does your financial future. Make sure you've got a winning financial strategy for whatever life throws your way. Abel Zion on Moore and Associates, because the right team makes all the difference. Yeah, definitely a great, going to be a great game. Coach Hopman does an incredible job with New Hampstead. Quarterback Truel is a dude. Obviously, he ate us up last year, and we're certainly hoping to do a much better job of corralling him this year.
And how much of last year's tape have you watched versus just watching the game tape of this year? Because it was interesting. It was a avalanche in the second half. Really, what it felt like. And I know that was kind of a thing that happened with a few of the games last year.
Yeah, I think a couple of different things. We've watched some of the film and, let it be what it is. You can't go back and redo that. It's different people.
Yeah.
We were missing a couple of guys in the secondary, if you remember last year, and it was just – it started happening and rolled downhill on us. And, so it wasn't so much scheme, which you can't control the other part. You put the best people you got out there and go with it. So we've watched some of it, but we for the most part, focused on what we've done this year and what they've done this year.
I thought something you said in the previous segment was interesting. You guys are kind of shortening the bench a little bit, where it's in the beginning of the year, it's roster management, where you're like, I got to save your legs for the back half of the season. Well,
Right.
This is it. Like, there's
Right.
nothing left to save your legs for now. So guys like, I'm assuming Bubba Frazier, who we saw play a little bit of defense last week, and Mekhi Williams, who mostly plays safety, going to be on offense a little bit.
Right.
If I had to imagine, we're going to see a lot of the same guys on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, we're gonna use those guys. We're gonna have people playing both ways, and certainly in situational football, and then a lot of those starters on special teams as well. It's time to go.
Now, looking at New Hampstead, specifically offensively, they're a team, they want to get in a basketball game with you and just put up points back and forth. And it starts with number 7, Truel, who has been cooking people regardless of classification, regardless of team area, wherever he plays, he's going to put up points and he's going to put up stats. How do you go about slowing down a guy like that?
I mean, one, you got to get pressure on him. He does a really good job of moving in the pocket and just avoiding the sack. And then Coach Hopman does a great job of either max protecting or moving him or, different situations. So but you got to find and get pressure on him. Got to get to his throwing arm and, hopefully cause some turnovers there. And then you've got to challenge the receivers, and that's the biggest thing we've been talking about. We've got to challenge the receivers because he'll pick you apart.
Yeah. I was going to say, for the first time this year, it really feels like you have a game where it's still going to be one of the line of scrimmage, but the secondary is in for a dogfight all night.
Secondary is going to have a really, really good game, and we're going to have to step up and be dogs and challenge them.
And I know you guys have played some really talented receivers so far this year, but when you're potentially facing a team that's going to try to run as many plays as possible, they're going to get up to the line quick. They can go 5 wide. They can come in tight, and you know that they're throwing the football. What kind of challenge does that present to the secondary?
Yeah, it is. It's hard. That they've got to be able to know what they're doing, what we're playing, be able to make the checks and all be on the same page. And that's the biggest thing, I think, with them this week. Just all be on the same page. Make sure you're playing. Be aggressive. Challenge the guys. Don't let True just pick us apart and make them earn everything they get.
Now, with that, you'd mentioned Coach Houston is a play caller. And with this, if you can, I guess, kind of affect his eyes and show him one thing at the beginning and then run something as soon as the ball's snapped, how much of that is going to go into tonight?
Yeah, that definitely is part of it. That's part of what we try to do. And so we will do a number of things, across the board at all 3 levels with that, trying to show one thing and move to another.
Now, offensively, sometimes your offense can be your best defense. Just keep number 7 on the sideline, and that's the best way to keep him from scoring. How big are number 12 and number 14 going to be tonight, just extending plays with their legs?
Yeah, it's going to be huge. We just have to be able to do that. We have to be able to get up the field and just move around and do things, keep the clock running in our favor.
And I liked last week we talked about before the game, it's Bubba Frazier time.
Right.
It has to be. And we saw about 6 different packages for him offensively and then saw him on defense. Do you think that kind of expands even more tonight?
Yes, you will. You will see him over and over again.
There you go. I mean, guy like number 4.
Yeah.
Eventually, he's going to break one. But I thought one guy who's kind of been quiet, and it's understandable when you go from slinging the ball around as much as you guys have to being more probably like 30-70, if I had to guess, is Josh Washington. And I know he's a guy who wants the ball in his hands. How, with so many guys, do you find 4 or 5 plays to get him the ball?
Yeah, you do. And we have that. Coach DePhillips does a really good job of that, of managing it and making sure you're getting everybody the ball. And then, once we get in the game, it's going to be more schematic. And certain situations are players, not plays, right? But that overall in the game is going to be more schematic of what they're trying to do, and then who gets the ball and how. And
defensively for them, again, it's very it hasn't been great so far this season. You give 80 points to Perry. Obviously something's not going well, but they've been opportunistic at times. And again, with that kind of offense, if they can steal a possession with a turnover, they can put 14 points up on you in a minute. How important is just, again, ball control and trying to avoid those turnovers?
Yeah, we got to. I mean, we've got to avoid the turnovers. We got to keep the ball and move it, be able to run it on the ground, as well as, make some possession catches and then have some big plays. So you got to do all the above. But you get, again, like you said, you got to keep running the clock in our favor.
Again, Thursday Night Football coming up tonight for a spot in the playoffs. If BC wins this, they'll go in as a 3 seed, so they'd hit the road in the first round next week to take on a 2 seed there. But you got to win this one tonight. So if you're watching this right now, if you're a BC fan, you got to get out and pack out Memorial Stadium. We need you loud. I know it's Halloween, but we still got Friday, still got Saturday. You can get the trick-or-treating done. I think the Alumni Association is going to have some trick-or-treating going on outside the stadium for the kids if they want to get out there. But, I mean, the support. I've said it over and over again this season. The stands are full, but we need people standing on third down and yelling on third down. So I'm going to give you this opportunity, Coach. Coach them up. Like, what situations do you need them loud?
Yeah, we do. You get to a third down situation, we need you loud when we're on defense, especially. So, loud, make it difficult on the other team. So that is a big part. And we just need you involved in the game. When something good happens, cheer and get excited about it. And it does affect the kids, I promise you.
Potentially the last home game for the rest of this season. So I'm just going to say you should be standing up the entire time.
Right.
It's 2.5, 3 hours.
That's right.
You can handle it. So, again, massive one coming up tonight. Coach, if you had to put your finger on one thing that it's going to take to win, what's it going to be?
I think just staying sound in what we do and being disciplined. And, that got us a little bit last week. Again, played incredibly hard, played incredibly emotional and great contact. But we've got to be Benedictine-type disciplined football.
Well, when Stephanie Britt walks into BowTie, that is my cue to get us out of here because Coach Britt has to go back to work. Coach, we appreciate the time on a game day getting out here for this one. I know the fans appreciate it, just your insight into this, and we're all wishing you good luck tonight.
Thank you so much. Go Cadets.
Again, you can catch the game right here on Watch BC Sports or on the YouTube page. We'll have the live audio stream for you tonight if you cannot make it out to Memorial Stadium, but we encourage everyone to do just that. For Coach Britt, I'm Christian Gokel. We will see you tonight.